परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं यत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। जय गुरुदेव। This promise is what I want all of you to remember. This is the basis for our study. I am rising up this nation to send forth my word. It is for the world and not for themselves that they arise. They means Indians, the people living in India. I am giving them freedom for the service of the world. This is what was the real essence of the Alipur Ashram sadhana. So all these what we are reading is for service of the world. Next. So this is what we were discussing yesterday. Generally what happens when we come to the so-called spiritual sadhanas, there is always a defect at the center. The intellect has been interested. We are reading it because we are interested. The heart is attracted towards it. The will has strung itself to the effort, but the whole nature has not been taken captive by the divine. This is what we should aspire for. It is not just the few hours which we spend in studying these things, but your entire life must be an offering to the divine, and then he can mold it. And if there is even a very single defect at the center, the problem is you can go back. We should always remember this point. If you are not progressing, that means you are falling down. Because even if you don't do anything, the world moves on. Or perhaps there is an effort not favored by the whole nature. A decision or turn imposed by an intellectual influence or dictated by personal affection or admiration for someone who is himself consecrated and devoted to the highest. This is the real danger which awaits us. We try to interpret what the Guru has said. One of the greatest mistakes we do in spiritual sadhana is in trying to evaluate what the Guru has written after he is not there to confirm your suppositions. That's the danger with which all spiritual organizations are suffering. Be careful about it. We need not question anything. The life of the Guru is our message. You just follow how he lived. Don't try to interpret, because what he has written is beyond time and space. And don't think that you can understand him in a better way than others. And in integral yoga, this becomes more important, because everyone has his own decisions to make. What we can do is we can stick to these principles. I am not talking about this book. I am talking about the principles enunciated in it. It has only acquiesced in the interest, the attraction or the endeavor. This is what we have to understand whether you are just interested in it or you are going to give your entire life to it. And if you are not giving your entire life, and when I say entire life, it means the mind, the vital, and the physical. All the three must be given to him. There has been an experiment, perhaps even an eager experiment, but not a total self-giving to an imperative need of the soul. It is not the need of us, but the need of the soul, or to an unforsakable ideal. But when we read all these things, we become a bit downtrodden. Then why all this? Then remember what it says, even such imperfect yoga has not been wasted, for no upward effort is made in vain. This spirit you should understand. But that does not mean that you should give a small attempts always. Try to surrender completely. But if you can't even do it, it is not in vain. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tatagachati. That is what Sri Krishna says in Gita. Whoever simply takes a simple step forward, he cannot again go back. He has already entered the path of yoga. It is a question of time only. But that time, if you can really try to understand the meaning of all these three books, but that doesn't mean that you are supposed to read only these three books. I am telling you, at least you read these three books within this week. Three books: The Synthesis of Yoga, The Life Divine, and Savitri. That must be the spirit. Not a casual thing that I will take it up when I get some time. This life must be important, and what you are doing in your day-to-day life is only a necessity designed by your master. The outward life we are living. You remember, you don't think that you are living that life and you are the decision maker in that life. Whether you are a husband or you have some responsibilities, you are a director, you are an actor. I have given you all the 5 lists: the politicians, the businessmen, the scientists, the actors, the teachers, the scientists. All who are working under different categories. We as the students of integral yoga should know that you are there because of the design of the Lord, whom Aurobindo says as the master of the works, the real master of the works. Then all life becomes yoga. But it should not be something what I am telling here and what you are hearing now, and the moment you cross the threshold you are gone. That should not happen. Next, the secret of success in yoga is to regard it not as one of the aims to be pursued in life, but as the one and only aim. Not as an important part of life, but as the whole of the life. This is the mantra which you should repeat daily. And when I say a mantra, I mean it is a mantra. Do it 108 times and see what happens. And I am not joking. This should be the inherent supporting thought of every action, every desire, every thought. In the beginning it may be difficult naturally, but it won't be difficult if you practice it regularly. The one and only one aim and our whole life is yoga. That is what Sri Aurobindo meant when he said all life is yoga.